We are ready to do it. Here it comes. The MMT evaluation of Den of Thieves 2, Pantera. Here comes the trailer. Get ready for a movie that had me nearly in a coma. Den of Thieves 2 starts now.
These streets, they're different. They're old. The ties are deep and hidden. It's where the East claws at the West, where the South seeks the North. There's honor here.
This trailer is 1,000 times more interesting than the movie. I like the music. I like the edits. Everything here is so much better than anything in Den of Thieves 2. It's like, let's just take a shot of everything that's awesome in this movie and make it a minute and 10 seconds long. But as I discuss this film tonight, that is 2 hours and 15/20 minutes long. It is one of the longest, most brutally painful films to sit through that I've had in a long time. And it's early January. Remember, early January is not a good time at the movies. You have to understand that this is when Hollywood gives you garbage such as Den of Thieves 2. Now, the original Den of Thieves came out, I believe, in 2018. And it was a reasonable success, 80 million worldwide. So they figured, let's have a sequel. We'll bring back at least Gerard Butler and Shay Jackson, or Shay O. Jackson, wouldn't Shay Jackson, and we'll have them in the movie, and we can try to make something of it. The problem with this film is that the first half is one of the most boring, exposition-filled. I literally was sitting here in the movie tonight, and I said to myself, can Gerard Butler eat or drink any more items in the first hour and a half of this movie? We see him drink a can of Pepsi. He has a filet mignon. He has some shawarma. Is that how you say it? He has some shots. He has a croissant, which is a running joke that's not funny. He says croissant, and the French guy's like, it's croissant. It's like, he's croissant. And that's hilarious, right? He eats, and you can see it. Gerard Butler looks like he really is kind of heavy. He looks like Russell Crowe. He's kind of completed the transformation to Russell Crowe. And you remember what he used to look like? Do I have to pull it up? Do we have to go back to Gerard Butler from 300? Can I remind you that this guy had one of the greatest physiques of all time in any movie? When you look at Gerard Butler in 300, let me just pull up. They had 300 workouts, right? To look like this guy. Look at him. He looked like a monster. Big chest, great abs. I don't know why the ad's there. Get out of there, ad. But you can see this is what we were dealing with, a guy who was a badass. And now he's kind of just rotund. I mean, he's not as big as Russell Crowe, but clearly he's not the same Gerard Butler that was in 300. He's not this guy that you see on the right of your screen right there. That guy was jacked. No one's doing the Gerard Butler Den of Thieves 2 workout. That's definitely not happening. But, you know, in addition to the fact that Gerard Butler eats and drinks throughout the entire first half of this movie, the only thing that gets somewhat interesting is about the last 20 minutes where there's a shootout and they're trying to get away. If the first film is Heat, right, it's a total ripoff of Heat. This film is a complete and utter ripoff of Ocean's 11, 12, 13. But it's not funny. It tries to be, with the Jackson / Butler dynamic buddy thing, where you have Gerard Butler kind of going to turn into a bad guy. So he learns what it's like to be a criminal. I'm not going to say what happens at the end, but I'm just going to say learns. And then you have finally the shootout after this really long, oh my God, the breaking in to steal from the safe deposit boxes takes an hour. I swear to God, I was literally this close to falling asleep in my very comfy recliner at AMC at the Dolby Cinema there in Burbank. But finally, we get to some kind of interesting thing after 2 hours of sitting through this. This is a very painful movie to watch, and I was extremely bored, and I very much recommend you skip this film. 45% for the number on this. That's our MMT score. I mean, listen, here's the thing that you got to remember about January. We've said this a million times on this stream now for over 2 hours, usually now lately, but 2 years. When you look at this release of early January, mid January, late January, it's garbage. This is the garbage portion of the movie going calendar. This is where Lionsgate comes in with Den of Thieves 2 Pantera and says, come see this. We can maybe make 10 million this weekend. It is the dregs of the cinematic calendar. And as such, you have to know that when you get Den of Thieves 2, it's not going to be great. Okay. I only watched parts of part one. I can tell you that it has to be better than part two because the trailer looks great. Again, just watch the trailer. Do not watch Den of Thieves 2. You'll be sitting there for the first hour counting all the items Gerard Butler shoves into his mouth. Okay. And it's a lot. The other thing that's interesting, I found this out before I went on air. And I was wondering during the movie, I'm like, Gerard Butler's not doing much in this movie. Why is he just kind of like sitting there? Well, guess what, everybody? Here's why. Gerard Butler says that he had a torn ACL when he filmed the movie. This is why Gerard Butler is eating croissants, drinking Pepsi, doing shots, having a filet, because he can't do anything. He's sitting at a table eating the entire first hour and a half of the movie because he had a torn ACL. Do you see how we operate? We are next fucking level.